It was December 18th, 2021, and on the streets of Ontario, Canada, the excitement for a professional boxing tournament could be felt in the air, a tournament that would leave no fan of the sport indifferent. The main event featured the world champion of the World Boxing Council, WBC, and the International Boxing Federation, IBF, Artur Beterbiev. On this occasion, he faced the tough task of defending his titles against his challenger Marcus Browne, a fighter who seemed to believe that his streetwise tactics would serve him well in the ring. Spoiler alert, they didn't. This match, however, was a true trial by fire for Artur, as Browne was known for relying on unsportsmanlike tricks to escape dangerous situations. With a professional record of 26 victories, Browne exuded confidence as he loudly proclaimed how he would beat Beterbiev and take his belts. The brave challenger told anyone who would listen that Beterbiev wasn't just sloppy, but also slow, and that he planned to outclass him with ease. But he seemed to have forgotten the saying, "He who laughs last, laughs best." And with his face smashed against the canvas, he wasn't going to be the one laughing. The judges for this bout were Kevin Scott, Barry Lindenman, and Benoit Roussel. Their critical eyes were tasked with declaring a winner if the force of the boxer's punches didn't do so first. With Michael Griffin as the third man in the ring, the match began. From the opening bell, Beterbiev exuded the energy of a true predator. He appeared to stalk his prey while Browne attempted to sell himself as an agile fighter. Unfortunately for Browne, none of the victory scenarios he had envisioned included a damage control strategy for the relentless plans Beterbiev was executing. By the end of the third round, Artur delivered a classic, "You've made me angry" moment. With his signature punches, Browne had no choice but to absorb the impacts, his back pressed against the ropes.
3 times that Jean Pascal caught him, and it's the same shot he's been caught with in previous fights as well.
You know Beterbiev is get off to crazy.
Yet, what no one expected was for the fourth round to turn into a legendary talking point for generations to come. Browne resorted to a textbook headbutt, one of those desperate moves challengers often employ when they run out of creative tactics. Immediately, Artur's forehead looked catastrophic.
Couple quick punches by Marcus Browne up the middle there.
Beterbiev. To your point, Steve. Round 5.
But instead of complaining or retreating, the warrior in him seemed to think, if I'm already bleeding, why shouldn't you? With real blood streaming down his face and reality outpacing fiction, Artur only moved faster. It was as if he heard an ambulance approaching and was determined to give it a good reason to show up. To save Browne, of course. Pinned against the ropes, Browne endured a ruthless punishment as Artur transformed the ring into the scene of a brutal massacre. For Browne, the fight became an all-you-can-take feast, with Beterbiev's punches as the main course. While Browne tried to shield his face, Artur's body punches were devastating enough to shake his very spirit. Cornered, Browne seemed to summon a demon in Artur that he couldn't exorcise.
Crimson mask right now in the final minute of round 4. Hard body shot from Beterbiev as he goes back downstairs with the left hand.
Always a make. How strong he is.
Only the round-ending bell saved him from a promised doom.
Marcus Browne throwing hard shots to the body in response as well. You have to hand it to him. He is trying to stand up. We mentioned that the first 2 rounds looked the way that you would want them to.
By the 5th round, Browne was absorbing so many punches it seemed he was earning a certification in how to take dozens of punches in the ring without dying instantly.
Pouring blood. Yeah, but...
Well, Browne had a couple good early rounds. This is better work for Beterbiev. This is where he wants to...
Though he attempted to counterattack, his feeble punches didn't even make it to first base. Brown was adept at moving his body to avoid being an easy target. However, his retreating crab-like movements often left him trapped with his back against the ropes. There, Beterbiev showcased to everyone, using Brown as his guinea pig, what high-level boxing truly looks like. Inevitably, Brown had to abandon any semblance of offense and switch to survival mode, covering his face and letting Beterbiev land shots at will. Brown tried to escape his entrapment along the ropes, but Beterbiev's attack was simply overwhelming. Like a merciless joker, Artur delivered a plot twist by immediately cornering Brown on the opposite side of the ring, a joke his challenger certainly wouldn't laugh at. It seemed Brown wouldn't survive as Artur's punches made his head sway like a pendulum, but a last-second escape along the ropes gave him a brief respite, punctuated by the sound of the bell.
That's good work.
20 seconds left to go in the round as Beterbiev finding some openings.
Oh, a good right hand by Beterbiev.
But Beterbiev just overwhelming him right now. And Brown just covering. Will they give Beterbiev enough?
The fight continued, and Beterbiev maintained his dominance over Brown. Pressed against the ropes and trapped in the corners, the challenger seemed to be his own worst enemy, unable to muster any meaningful attack. It was as if the gash on Artur's forehead had triggered his avatar mode. Just when it seemed the fight couldn't escalate further, the 7th round arrived as a reminder to keep an open mind. Something in Artur's demeanor suggested he had decided it was time to stop toying with his prey and finish the fight. Brown, pinned against the ropes and trying to dodge as many punches as he could, let his guard down in a desperate lateral escape attempt. A monstrous left hook to the face left him sprawled on the canvas, likely questioning whether boxing was truly his calling.
Over the past couple of rounds.
Every time you have your best moment, because every time you mix body head, you hurt them at every time. Okay? You need to continue like this. Big defense, pressure, and mix head body, head body, head body. It's simple. It's not fast.
The devastating blow sent Brown to his knee, as if reconsidering every life choice that had led him to that moment. It took him several seconds before even attempting to rise. If he chose to continue, he would face the final minute of the round in his most vulnerable state yet. Surprisingly, Brown displayed impressive resilience, refusing to quit and allowing the bell to give him extra recovery time in his corner. Clinging to survival like a Titanic castaway, Brown endured as much as he could. But Beterbiev's punches pierced his defenses like icy stakes, and by the 9th round, the daring challenger had grown weary of treading water. Before the round began, referee Michael Griffin informed Beterbiev that this would be the fight's final round, initially scheduled for 12 due to the severity of the cut on his forehead. With this knowledge, the champion unleashed his full arsenal, determined not to leave standing the man who dared mock his reign. Beterbiev began the round with his characteristic ferocity, while Brown struggled to do more than crash into the ropes or get cornered yet again. The storm of punches was a highlight reel of the year's best moments, but the real turning point came with a vicious uppercut that smashed into Brown's jaw.
All over him. And down he goes after a hard.
The blow forced Brown to kneel before the champion, unable to rise as Griffin counted him out. It was over. Brown had endured enough, and even he seemed to know that getting up would only mean further unnecessary punishment. Thus, Beterbiev was declared the winner by knockout at 46 seconds into the 9th round, successfully defending his WBC and IBF light heavyweight titles. Brown, no doubt, regretted skipping his vegetables as a child. He lacked the strength to even attempt to match the level of boxing that Beterbiev had so mercilessly demonstrated. But in the ring, what goes around comes around. The dirty headbutt that infuriated Beterbiev and caused a serious cut on his forehead couldn't go unpunished. Closing thoughts. Thank you for reading all the way through. Remember, the best way to support my content is by leaving a like on the video. Do you think Brown ever had a real chance to defeat Beterbiev? At what point do you think the outcome of this fight was sealed? Let me know in the comments.